Hello, guys, and welcome back to Joe's Ventures. And today, because it's been another month, we've got another devlog for Prehistoric Kingdom, and this one's pretty fun. So we're getting quite excited to get stuck into this one, but we've got for February 2023, got some pretty exciting stuff. So let's not dilly dally too much and get stuck into it. So we have here. Welcome to February's development update. This post will be discussing some changes to the roadmap and delve into Prehistoric Kingdom's next update. We've just released update 5. This dev diary was a little bit more information heavy. So speaking of this now released update, this latest one adds the research system with various range graphics and a bunch of little changes to challenge mode. So please check out the patch notes to see everything new in this next update, or in update 5. So you can check that out in your own time. It's already been added to your game, just so you know what's changed. So let's have a look at the state of development. So where we are at. So the team is currently working on a handful of updates that we hope to release in the first half of 2023, focusing on new gameplay features and further development on Animal AI. While saying this is easier than doing, this year we're trying to be more frequent and consistent with our updates. The research system, if its initial offerings were quite basic, was our first step towards the goal of the addition of 2 other patches released in February. We want to better maintain the game by releasing fixes and general updates in a more frequent manner between larger releases, targeting additions that help the game find a better footing while we work on the big stuff. And we've learned a lot from 2022, and that extends to our animal roster. So there's really a lot of amazing prehistoric creatures in our backlog, and we made some adjustments to help release them. Throughout the year, we'll be including animals in our big theme update, as you expect, just like the desert one back in December. However, we also have them sprinkled throughout 2023 to occasionally coincide with a few smaller game updates. And the team hopes that they'll be ready by the end of the year. You should have quite a few new faces running around your parks, and you might just meet one of them very soon, which is very, very cool. So in February, we want to be able to. We were able to have 2 new members join the team, and they've been settling in, helping us balance part of the game and begin working on some new developments, which includes modular grass masking, a huge quality of life change that auto removes grass under certain pieces such as floors and feeders. So that's pretty awesome. And while with everything said, we've updated our Trello roadmap to better reflect where we're headed and what we'd like to do. Keep in mind everything is subject to change and no public release dates. Treat it more as a step-by-step process. So basically from that, they want to be more consistent. They're going to add more animals sprinkled in, not just animals in big updates like in December. So if you guys I think this is a good way to go, keeping things lots of little updates to keep the momentum going instead of just dropping big things. But yeah, really, really cool. So going to be starting off with the animals. So right now we are heavily overhauling the technical side of animals, improving their locomotion, AI, and responsiveness. We're putting more resources into that than ever before. In parallel, all the coding, the animation team has been creating new animations required for the revamped locomotion system. Staffers walking backwards, and turning on the spot while walking and trotting, all part of the endeavor to create a more convincing and responsive animal movement. You can see some art tests below. So you can see these guys, they look like they're doing a bit of a canter. How cute. There's a Scalatosaurus and the Protoceratops. Look at these little cuties. I love them so much. I like that little stamina they've got. Little trot. Really, really cute. And then we can see this is kind of a good example. See, they're starting to slow down and stopping, walking backwards, and then he's going to start running and then start galloping pretty much. So that's pretty cool. Really, really awesome to see that on the Protoceratops. And then we've got, so these guys trying to figure out how to walk around a little bit more. See, look, even just that's a lot more responsive and realistic, which is pretty cool. So really, trying to make those animals feels a lot more believable, which is really, really cool. And we always love to see realistic dinosaurs because we want them to feel like animals. And guess what? This includes swimming too. So this upcoming transversal feature has been designed to use the same type of animations so allowing animals to strafe and go backwards, even while when in the water. And this is all intentionally built to fluidly go back between the states, and then originally stop-start. So this is kind of to blend it in more, because animals don't just walk around and stop. They kind of slow down. Even your walking, you've noticed, there's a lot of complexity to human walking. And if you watch animals enough, they don't just walk like robots. And I go, stop, turn, walk. They kind of will slow down, maybe they'll investigate a bit and kind of to go off. So it really helps with that believability, feeling organic, feeling imperfect. And if we can see some new changes here, so you can see the T-Rex swimming. Really, really nice. It reminds me of Prehistoric Planet, and you can see this is like doing a side swim. So much more organic flowing. They probably won't swim like this in game. This is more just a test to see how it looks. And we've also got here watching them swim around. So this is kind of a swimming forward. So it's going like that. Cool. So it's important to stress they're not simply retreading old ground. So everything is being and done to service the developing future behaviors, such as socializing, herding, hunting, and combat. And all of your bug requests, feedback, and requests have been an important part of designing what we want for the next stage of the animals. So really listening to people's feedback. And as much as we're sure you'd love to see the monotony of animation tablets, mixers, and a lot of editing tools, not much is ready for presentation at this stage. However, a massive update. It is, however, a massive update and will take time. So we'll continue to share progress as it evolves. So this is something that's big that they'll be like kind of chunking away on as much as they can. So this would be perfect stuff for devlogs. People love seeing that stuff. And let's have a look at what's in the pipeline. So let's talk about Update 6. This is our next gameplay update, and we're expecting it to launch this month in March with everything mentioned below. So here we have donation boxes. So donation boxes are a module that allow guests to donate directly to the park. Strategically placing them around high traffic areas near good scoring exhibits will help them to create a number of donations. However, donation boxes have a limited monthly capacity, which means once they are filled, the guests can no longer use the box. At the end of each month, the earnings will be automatically collected at the boxes will be emptied. So players can also research bigger donation boxes to help raise the potential of their monthly donation income. So that's pretty cool. I like that. Because donations are obviously a very important part of zoos. They often will donate for conservation and also just welfare of the animals. Very, very important. Especially if zoos aren't like, because a lot of zoos, they're council zoos, but a lot of private zoos will rely on donations a little bit more. And then we can see here's a smaller one, and then we can see this big one. This reminds me of like the machine. So a little one here, you can see this Scelidosaurus in the background. So if you want to do, I like the Scelidosaurus, I want to help give it a slightly better life, or I want to help conserve Scelidosaurus, even though you wouldn't because they're extinct, conserve their habitat or whatever. This is using modern zoos as an example. You plunk $1 in there, and you can see that this one's not as full as that one. So that's really cool, like a visual indication. I think the little visual things are always so cool because oftentimes it gives you a visual. So instead of having to read through a menu, you can look at it and see if it's full or not. And then you can obviously, of course, research a bigger one here. You can see this is quite a big one. So this one's quite a bit more full than this one. And this is obviously quite a bit bigger. It reminds me of those like arcade claw machines, which is pretty cool. And let's keep going down. And then we can see this big one here with the Brachiosaurus, because everyone wants to come see the big sauropods or the big T-Rexes and things like that. A big one that people can come donate, and it'll pile up eventually. So that's really, really cool. Really big fan of that. And I just love that Brachiosaurus in the background. Such a beautiful animal. So, for those of you who are familiar with challenge mode, you might know that donations are already a thing technically. They're sort of technically a thing. You see donations in the current game provide a constant flow of cash as long as they're an animal in the habitat. This is one of those systems we knew we were going to have a second pass at to improve the game's simulation and management. So our goal for the next iteration is to make donations feel more organic and help reward players in a more meaningful way. So these basically donations are kind of a reward for doing things right, because you get more money on top of the money you're already making, because people like the exhibits, they like their experience, they're going to donate. That's what happened with zoos anyway. And this is kind of a positive way to reward people, which is really cool. And next up, we've got updated rocks and styling. So this is pretty interesting. In February, the art team got around to remaking all the rocks to better complement our other art assets, dubbing them these ones as igneous rocks. And they're all part of a grand plan to improve new varieties like smooth, beachy rocks and jagged, stratified rocks. So got like stratigraphy to them. So got like layers. Stratified, I believe that's the word. These new versions make use of a tilling detail texture that preserves their up-close fidelity no matter how big or small you've scaled them. We're also introducing 2 new cladding pieces that are perfect for building on flatter shapes like floors or walls. It is important for us to keep the general shapes fairly close to our current rocks in order to preserve player builds. Some adjustments may be required depending on how you've used them in the past, but for the most part they're pretty close. We'll still be working on how they look, and there'll be some visual differences in the final release. So you can see some changes there. So you can see the Psittacosaurus and the Dryosaurus there. You can see these wonderful rocks. They do look a little bit nicer. I quite like them. So now let's take a look. Let's not take this next patch for granted, of course. This update will also be adding moss, sand, and snow styles to these rocks, which is really cool. So these 3 substrates will always appear on the top side of the rock no matter how you rotate, scale them. So that's really, really cool. So no matter what you do, you can go, and they'll always appear on the top, so no matter how you move it and mess around with it. So that's pretty cool. And these 3 substrates will always appear on top side of the rock no matter what, and no matter how you rotate or scale them. And each substrate is fully recolorable, so you can have red snow on purple sand. You can do that, so that's pretty fun. It really allows that creativity, so that looks really nice there. Really, really cool. There's an Isuda hanging out down there, and you can see this. The moss is always on the top, so it really creates these natural like rocks. So it's really cool. And then we can see this one with the mammoth, so you can see all the snow hanging out there. That looks really, really nice. And then you can see this one's got sand on it by the looks of it. You can see the colors there with the Coelophysis in the foreground. Really, really cool. And last but certainly not least, in terms of updates, we've got a new animal coming. So, new animal. So that's right, the first animal of 2023 is right around the corner. We're keeping it a secret for a little while longer, but if you're lucky, you might see a new species spotlight trailer as we get closer to the release of the update. And as mentioned earlier, we're still deep in overhauling the technical side of the animals. This will hopefully be the last creature to use the current animal systems while everything is updated in a few months. So that's pretty good. So you get a new animal, but everything's going to get updated. So if you guys don't know what this is, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what this is. So it's very interesting. There's a few things it could be, and I think it's going to be pretty cool. Whatever it is going to be awesome because I love prehistoric animals. In terms of community spotlights, we've got by Arteli, we have got this wonderful recreation of the Namek formation. We have got the Deinocheirus there, and then we have Tarbosaurus in the background there. Really, really nice illustration. Reminds me of Prehistoric Planet. And that, I think that's Julius Gertoni. No, I don't think he made that. There's an artwork and it's got like a few Namek animals in it. I'm trying to remember who made that. I don't think it was Julius. I think it was Aubrey Ochin or something like that. That Russian guy that really does awesome paintings. I think that was him actually. And this one's by Lucy257. This really nice like pit. We can see the Coelophysis there. Pits, these kind of pit style enclosures, not really a thing anymore. Often they try to bring you more to their level so you're not looking down on the animals. But I still like this regardless. Really nicely decorated with some trees and blood pumpkins, things like that. You see other things around the park, aviary, things like that. Really, really cool. And we've got this nice little aviary here. So I wonder what lives in here. Looks like this is definitely something for Archaeoraptors, not Archaeoraptors, Archaeopteryx and Microraptors. But yeah, I really like this regardless. Very much kind of olden style. This reminds me of something you'd find in like a middle-aged like castle thing, or even Nordic. This is quite cool. I like that. And that's by Joseph AF95, so that's pretty cool. And we're going to have to thank you for reading February's Dev Diary. So the last few months of development have felt especially productive for the team. That's really, really good. And as stated above, we will continue to strive for more frequent updates to better maintain the live game. Please stay tuned for more information in March as we'll carry on developing the next update. Until next time, the PK team. So a very interesting update today. You see we got some new rock things. We got some donation boxes and updates on animal swimming and locomotion and things like that. And we've got teased of a new animal that's going to be coming soon. So that'll be very interesting to see. So yeah, really good devlog today. I always like reading the PK devlogs. And I think this will be a great place to end the video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. Always remember to get the little bell icon to get notified about anything. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. And bye-bye.